Iowa Secretary of State Matt Schultz will offer a slate of election reforms when the state legislature reconvenes next year, including a signature verification process for absentee ballots. Controversial voter ID requirements and a new way of drawing districts for county offices would be part of the package as well. But with the legislature split between the Democrat-controlled Senate and Republican-led House, it's unclear whether any such measures will gain traction. Iowa's long early voting period has made absentee ballots a major part of state elections. This year, an estimated 43.5% of voters voted absentee in the 40 days leading up to Election Day. But Schultz and others worry that the system may be more susceptible to fraud than in-person voting. That has the Secretary, the Republican who has made ballot security the top priority, looking to Washington and Oregon. Voting by mail is the norm in those states, and both use an electronic scanning system to ensure the signatures on ballot envelopes match those found in voter registration files. When you have half of the people voting absentee, we really should be looking at signature verification as a way to try and prevent any fraud there, Schultz said. But, he acknowledged, advancing such a system will require deep discussions and agreement among lawmakers, and will carry a cost. Obviously there'll be a cost, he said. There's a lot of questions that we'll have to delve into with the legislature, but I think it's something we need to be looking at when we have this many people voting absentee. State Representative Peter Cowney, our West Des Moines and the most recent chairman of the House State Government Committee, said the proposal would need to be vetted. I'm all for making sure that we have the proper accountabilities in place while not disenfranchising voters and while not adding unnecessary costs for the taxpayer regarding our voting, he said. Cowney's Democratic counterpart in the Senate, Senator Jeff Danielson of Cedar Falls, was even less enthused. The state already has an innovative and widely admired software system for managing elections, known as Precinct Atlas, that tracks ballots and ensures security, Danielson said. Iowa would be better served expanding that system than adopting something new like signature verification, he said. The Senate State Government Committee chairman noted his own race in 2008, when he won by a mere 22 votes and endured a lengthy recount. I won one of the closest races in Iowa history that went to a 3-week recount. That process taught me that our election system in Iowa is one that we can trust and believe in, Danielson said. It's a shame the current Secretary of State continues to make proposals that make it sound like it's not. In Iowa, voters may vote absentee by requesting a ballot and either returning it by mail or dropping it at their local election office, or by voting in person ahead of Election Day at the election office or a satellite polling site. Polk County Auditor Jamie Fitzgerald also expressed some doubt that signature verification was necessary. The fact that nearly half of Iowa voters are casting absentee ballots is evidence that they're comfortable with the security mechanisms in place, he said. In addition to signature verification, Schultz said he again would pursue legislation requiring voters to show the photo ID at the ballot box and would also pursue a change to the redistricting process for county offices. His office has supported both measures in recent years, but neither has won support from both the House and Senate. Voter ID, in particular, is a sharply partisan issue, with Democrats claiming its true purpose is to drive down turnout among Democrat-leaning voters. The redistricting effort aims to make county-level map drawing less partisan and is inspired by the Polk County Supervisor districts drawn following the 2010 census, which some observers suggested were intended to help incumbents and maintain a Democratic majority. The November 6 election and Schultz's efforts addressing potential voter fraud have brought substantial attention to his office in recent months. On election night, the office's website for reporting results crashed, slowing the reporting of outcomes in some races. Schultz said Tuesday that the problem came in the connection between the office's internal servers and the cloud server that was accessed by the public. The process by which county officials transmitted data to the Secretary of State actually performed faster and smoother than ever, he said. An internal audit is now underway to diagnose and fix the problem that led to the difficulties. Danielson, the Democratic senator, suggested the issue indicates that Schultz needs to get his own house in order before pursuing additional legislative changes to the elections process. Schultz also said that investigations into Iowans who may be illegally registered to vote are continuing. permanent resident non-citizens and felons who are not eligible to vote were discovered on voter registration rolls in a handful of counties earlier this year by a Division of Criminal Investigations agent assigned to the Secretary of State's office. That agent's investigations will continue, Schultz said. Stymied for the time being, though, is Schultz's quest to gain access to a federal database he says will allow him to identify ineligible voters more easily. The hang-up is a pending lawsuit filed by the American Civil Liberties Union and a Latino group. Schultz said he expects to receive some direction from the court later this month.